Good day. We are beginning the chapter on parenting teenagers. We are going to be looking at hygiene, personal hygiene, and care for the teenagers, physical care and hygiene for the teenagers. Teenagers need to take their physical hygiene very, very important. They will take it very seriously. The reason is because they are growing. They are in an adult body, children in an adult body, more or less, and there are a lot of hormonal changes coupled with the changes resulting with puberty, like menstruation and all that. It being clean is something that will help them. It will prevent odors, and the odor prevention builds their confidence. One of the things that will reduce a child's confidence is if they are not smelling well, they will get a lot of feedback, a lot of negative feedback from their peers, and that damages a lot of their self-esteem. So, first thing you should do when your teenager becomes a teenager is teach them how to keep themselves clean. Usually, they would not automatically do that for themselves. Children, normal children in the childhood stage, they don't need so much care. We clean them, we make sure they are clean, and the hygiene is optimal. But because of their size and because of they don't have those concerns, hormonal concerns, puberty concerns that teenagers have. Like a little child can get away with not bathing for a day, and nobody will notice that they didn't bathe. A little child can get away with not brushing their mouths in a day, and nobody will notice. But not a teenager. Not a teenager cannot go a day without bathing or a day without brushing. And so the first thing you must teach them is how to take care of their hygiene. It helps them, it builds their confidence. They feel fresh, they look fresh, and they definitely smell fresh. It will build their self-esteem. We are going to be looking at some um, points under hygiene that are peculiar for teenagers, besides the normal one that we already treated in other chapters. We're going to begin with skincare. Under skincare, we'll be seeing oily skin, pimples, and eczema. The teenager has an increased oil secretions on their skin. Their skin is oilier, more oily than other people's own. The oil tends to be a major culprit that causes pimples. And pimples will come normally for teenagers as part of that, but it is made worse when the skin is dirty, and oil is part of what makes the skin dirty. So the same thing with eczema too. Eczema would come. So for the first time, the child, the teenager, will be introduced to regular bathing, especially face washing. You may not bathe more than 3 or 4 times a day, but you can wash your face. The part of the body where they have most problem with pimples and eczema is the face. So you must teach them to wash their face regularly with soap, not just washing with water. Washing with water doesn't do anything for the face. You wash it regularly with soap, mild soap, of course, bathing soap, and water. Um, I would want them to avoid cosmetic products, especially at their age. So they should you just clean the face with water and soap. That can be done as many times a day as possible. It helps to keep away pimples, helps to keep away eczema, which also affects their self-esteem. When eczema and pimples becomes a problem, for a teenager, they usually get negative feedback from their peers. Teenagers can be mean to each other sometimes. So, and that damages their self confidence. So, helping them to keep pimples are normal though for their age, but helping them to keep them under control by keeping the face and other parts of the body where there's skin also, keeping everywhere clean will help them to build their confidence. Next on the list, we'll be looking at hair care. Hair care, well, their hair too will have an increased amount of oil on it this period, so they have to wash regularly. Shampoo is good, But I would advise that teenagers, they are still children, they should be kept away from cosmetic products as much as possible, relaxers, conditioners, all those things that even braiding, anything that will expose them to chemicals that are not going to be helpful to them, they should avoid. Teenagers go through a lot of stress, especially during this period when they are trying to adjust. I am of the opinion that encouraging them to braid their hair adds to their stress. Encouraging them to do a lot of things that adult women do, um, painful procedures like braiding, as far as I'm concerned, is painful. It will put them under more stress. As much as possible, allow your teenager, if they wish, to cut their hair, whether they are male or female, they should have their hair cut short. Definitely, they shouldn't be fixing nails at that age. They shouldn't be fixing nails. They shouldn't be fixing eyelashes. They shouldn't be wearing tight clothes. They shouldn't be wearing all in the name of fashion. They should be as comfortable as possible. So their hair, or whatever is going on with their hair, they should just keep the hair short and wash it with shampoo, and that should take care of hygiene for the hair. Nail care. Nail care, like I said, a teenager should not be fixing nails. Rather, they should keep their fingers short by fingernails short by cutting them and then washing the hands regularly. A lot of diseases, surprisingly, a lot of diseases are prevented by simply washing your hands with soap and water as regularly as possible. So you teach them to wash their hands regularly, and that should take care of their hand hygiene. Bathing. When a teenager gets to that age of teenage years, their best friend is regular baths and then deodorants. You should introduce them to deodorants like roll-on and deodorants. So I don't recommend body sprays. I don't believe that they do the job. But roll-ons are very good to keep them smelling fresh after bathing. And in case they don't bathe regularly, roll-on does a lot of cover up for them. It will help them to smell nice. And you must teach them at this age to not share toiletries. They shouldn't be sharing underwears at this age, especially when for the girls who have started menstruating by this age. They shouldn't be sharing underwear, they shouldn't be sharing towels or toothbrushes with anybody. Teach them toiletries should not be shared, and they should bathe regularly. And of course, at their age, they cannot afford things like roll-ons. So you would be the one to, as a parent, to provide for them and make sure it's always it's always available for them. Then menstrual hygiene. We are going to be looking at menstrual hygiene. At this stage, teenagers usually start menstruating, the females. What is good for them to do, most importantly, is we call menstrual tracking. Menstrual tracking. Period tracking, you can also call it period tracking. Um, your daughter should be taught how to anticipate, to predict their periods. There are a lot of to save you the stress of having to explain to her. There are a lot of apps on the Android phone, on the Google Play Store, that can help. They even help to calculate when the next period will be. Because one of the most embarrassing things that teenagers experience is not knowing when their period is going to come, and it stops and it starts unexpectedly and stains them, and it can be very embarrassing for them, and that does a lot of damage to their image. So you should teach your children period tracking, how to calculate them, how to anticipate and know when it's going to come, so they can be prepared and save themselves a lot of embarrassment. And also teach them how to use sanitary pads correctly. So teach them how to use sanitary pads correctly, how to use them, and how to dispose of them in a sanitary way. At this age is the age you teach them. They cannot. It's better they learn it from a parent than from their friends. For the men, you teach them also safe shaving hygiene practices, like If you are the father, that they should learn from the father how to shave and minimize injuries, what to do after shaving. A person who shaves, every man who shaves, should have some form of aftershave. You don't have to buy the expensive ones from the supermarket. A good aftershave is methylated spirit. After shaving, they should sterilize. You clean their face with methylated spirit. It helps. There's a notable person who got tetanus, tetanus from shaving. They shaved and they didn't keep the skin clean, and they got tetanus from that. So those are part of the reason why you should teach your male child shaving hygienes. The best way just to teach them how to use an aftershave. After the shave, they can use methylated spirit is a good cheap aftershave. You don't have to buy the expensive ones. And you also teach them that they should not be sharing shaving items. Shaving sticks are not to be shared. I'm sure we all know why. There are a lot of health concerns that will make a child not that will make you to normally teach your child not to share their shaving sticks with anyone and not to reuse. There's a practice among teenagers, especially those who have to buy their shaving sticks themselves. They shouldn't be buying their shaving sticks themselves. A child who has a parent should, but those things should be taken care of by the parent. But sometimes they are the ones buying these things by themselves. And so, in order to save money, they reuse blades, they reuse what are supposed to be disposable shaving sticks. You must teach them to stop that practice. It's very, very dangerous for the male child. Teach them how to always use a new shaving stick every single time, and a new shaving stick for different parts of the body, because it's not only the face that they shave. They have the pubic hair that they want to shave, they have the armpit hair they want to shave. Those for every session they should have at least three shaving sticks. It may seem expensive, especially to a teenager, but in order to avoid sometimes life-threatening infections, they should be careful about their shaving instruments. Then lastly, we are going to talk about hygiene for clothes. Hygiene for clothes. Um, Clean clothes are all teenagers need. They will not agree with you on this point. The teenagers are very, very, very much bothered about what is in fashion. They will wear anything as long as their peers tell them is what is in fashion. So you must prepare them even before they become teenagers. You should have been preparing them from the toddler stage to learn how to be independent and assertive, especially in their thoughts. Teach them that what they need to wear is only what is comfortable. Sometimes they are pressured by their peers to wear things that are too tight fitting, shoes that are uncomfortable, that may damage their posture simply because it's what is in fashion. If you start early, you'll be able to teach them how to be, um, to resist that peer pressure. All they need are comfortable clothes, and that is what they should wear. We are going to be ending the topic here. In our next topic, we'll be looking at something else, nutrition for teenagers. Until then, thank you.